highest paid. The top 10 highest paid quarterbacks, the millions spent on them, are they worth their investment? So we've got the top 10 quarterbacks that have been paid here recently. And the list is pretty gaudy. There's some hot names on here, some names you kind of shake your head at. So we're going to go around the room and we're going to get our opinions on 1 through 10 and exactly who you feel like is paid and are they worth it? That is the definite question. You know, we're going to go through from Dak Prescott all the way down to Lamar Jackson. They get Lamar Jackson now 10 on this list. That's crazy.
Mahomes isn't even on it.
Exactly.
I just want to point that out.
There is,
you know, the half $1 billion man not on the top 10. So
I love that. Mr. 10-year contract.
Love it.
Not on the list. It's now
there
on the
are
list.
3 Super Bowl appearances from all these quarterbacks combined.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Crazy.
Okay. So Mike Doe, let's start. You want to go top to bottom or bottom to top? Pause it.
Let's go top to bottom.
Okay.
That sounded crazy.
Pause if needed. That's why I said pause if needed. Okay.
All right. Let's start Dak. I'll say Dak worth it. A lot of money, but listen, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys may be the hardest, thing to do in pro football. He handles it well. I say Dak worth it. I'll just leave it there.
Okay.
Josh Allen worth it. Trevor Lawrence, no, not worth it. I can't remember what stat I saw. Trevor Lawrence was him and was it Daniel Jones have like literally the same stat line.
Yep.
Yeah, like
seasons.
Yeah. So Trevor Lawrence not worth it, which is crazy because I thought coming out of college he probably would have been, one of my guys that stick my hat on. Yeah. Joe Burrow, definitely. Jordan Love, nah. I'm gonna say no. Potential is there, but we just haven't seen it yet. Tua, they use him so well. Like they do a good job of their offense. So I'm gonna say Tua. I'm gonna say Tua is not worth it. Goff, for what? It's so hard because so many of these is based off of fit. It's not based off of like if they go other places, I think they absolutely wouldn't be worth it. But for where they are, I think they're good fits. Goff is a good fit in Detroit. Purdy, no, I don't think he's worth it. Herbert, worth it. Lamar, of course, worth it. So it's a little bit of a mixture. It's hard. It's really hard to tell. But I just find it interesting that out of this whole list, you have maybe 2 top 5 quarterbacks in the league, maybe three top 5 quarterbacks in the league. But you're missing, like you said, Mahomes. You're missing, other guys on there. So that's interesting to me. But I would say it's probably half and half. Half of them are worth it, but most of it is based off of fit. There's very few guys on this list that I think you could put it anywhere in the league and they'll be worth that money.
Okay.
Yeah, so
okay. Young RG, what is your take on the top 10?
So I'll kind of do what Mike Dub did, and I'll go down the list quickly. So Dak Prescott, yeah, for all that about being a Cowboys QB and he handles it well, yeah, I guess. Is he worth the money to play the position of quarterback? Hell nah. Not in a million years. Josh Allen, 100% deserves it. I mean, like we mentioned, and one of the top 5 QBs in the league, top 3, honestly. Trevor Lawrence, no way. Definitely hasn't proved it at all so far. I think the first person on this list going from top to bottom that was just the victim of the Jags could not let him walk. That's because true. If he would have succeeded anywhere else, the Jags franchise would have been in turmoil right now. So agreed. You were kind of, when you draft somebody number 1 overall, unless they are just dog awful, you're pretty much stuck to them for, the foreseeable future, at least the rookie deal and probably an extension after that. So, still a little bit of time with Trevor. He's obviously shown flashes here or there, but you're obviously disappointed being a number 1 overall pick, and especially as highly touted of a number 1 overall pick as he was coming out of that draft. Going on to Joe Burrow next, 100% he deserves it. Although Burrow always gives me a little bit of pause because for as great as he is, we have never seen him be that great without having the upper echelon tier talent of wide receivers. In college, he had Jay Jettas and Jamar Chase. In the pros, he has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I mean, like, it's no wonder the Bengals forked over all that money to keep both those wide receivers, because the unknown of what Burrow could be without that is just too much for them to fathom, I guess.
Right.
So, take that with a grain of salt, but yes, he does deserve it. Jordan Love, this is why you don't sit QBs you draft in the first round for 3 years, because when they finally do get to play, you got to make a decision quick on got to pay them or not. You don't actually get to sit and watch them develop over the years and then decide.
That's Aaron Rodgers' fault, but go ahead though. Keep cooking.
I mean, yeah. Well, it's Aaron Rodgers' fault and it's also the Packers' fault, but we'll leave it at that. Tua, no way in hell. Another guy who was just a victim of you drafted him with a top 5 pick. I was shocked they gave him the contract, however, since Brian, what's the coach?
Mike McDaniel.
I was going to say Mike McDonald. Mike McDaniel wasn't even the coach to draft Tua, yet they still gave him the extension. So take that for what you will. I just don't see it, man. I mean, you put one of the just not even best wide receiver, one of the best pure weapons in Tyreek Hill on that squad, and they didn't even sniff a playoff win. So I don't know. I'm not a big tangibles guy, but you got to meet certain criteria at least, and Tua is just not. He's just not that. Jared Goff, I'm a little bit with Mike on this one. I don't think he deserves it. Another top. He was the number 1 overall pick. Am I wrong?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
He was, right? Yeah.
Wentz.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Oh man, what a back-to-back duo.
Total polar opposite.
Polar
career
opposite.
Rundowns. But
hey, Carson Wentz got a Super Bowl ring though. Let's give it again.
You know what, Alex? It's so funny you say that, because if you would have said after year 1, from where each QB was, you would have never thought this is where they would have.
Oh, and like Goff went to a Super Bowl. He just lost 6-3 to Brady. Whatever the hell it was. Yeah, whatever the hell. It was the most boring thing ever.
A golf score
after they played the Chiefs that year, and the total score was like 160 or something crazy.
63 to 55 was like
something ridiculous.
We just collectively erase that Super Bowl from our minds and make that Rams Chiefs game the Super Bowl.
Right.
Those are the forgotten times.
These aren't the Super Bowl you're looking for.
Yeah, this is not the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl never happened.
Right.
So yeah, I just think Goff is like Purdy was in a great situation, is in a great situation with a ton of weapons, great O-line, great coaching. So yeah, just very, very the beneficiary of a great team. Purdy, we already talked about. Don't think he deserves that. Herbert, obviously a little biased with this, but I do truly think that he does deserve it. Obviously, his career achievements up until this point aren't warranted for that contract. So if people want to come in here arguing, well, Brock Purdy, has at least been to a Super Bowl, so he deserves that. If you want to argue team achievements for single players, this is not the place to do it. I'm sorry. I'm not going to have none of that mess. But, I can go on and on about the coaching. I think he deserves it for sure. And Lamar, not even a question, 2-time MVP. Yes, 1,000% deserves it. Probably deserves. Yeah, I was just about to say, probably deserves more, honestly.
He deserves what Dak deserves, and Dak deserves.
We gotta flip those. Put Dak down at the 52, and I think all will be right.
There you go. All right, Real AG, you up?
All right. I will preface. I think some of this is obviously the guys are just a victim of when they are up for a contract extension. That's and it's everyone. It's like whoever QB's next, they're going to reset the market, whether they're worth it or not. And I also agree with what Mike Dubb noted on. Some of these guys are certainly worth it based on where they're at and how they fit into that team. But for me, for planning for the show, I just looked at it as more of like, what have they done for that team? And do I think, is that price tag worthy of what they've done to this point? That's kind of how I assess this for my yes or no. So to start with Dak, I agree with Robert. It is a hell no for me. 60 mil a year. And, Buddy plays half the year. So, that's nothing else needs to be said there. Josh Allen, absolutely yes. Trevor Lawrence, I think like everyone said, victim of just being the up for the contract extension at that time, but absolutely not worth it. Joe Burrow, definitely worth it. But I do agree, he kind of gives me some pause too. He gets the benefit of the supporting cast, but he has elevated the Bengals to levels that their fan base has never been in before, which is evident if you just look at Bengal fan base on Twitter. They're all very high on meth. But Jordan Love, I don't know, is not worth it in my opinion. He's been given the reins of the kingdom and has really done nothing to progress them further for them to give him all this money.
Yep.
Tua, definitely not worth it. And I also was shocked that they even gave him that money because he had all the injury concerns going into it. And yeah, I mean, he fits well with McDaniel in that system, but if teams like my Chiefs have shown, if you just get a little aggressive with them and throw the system that's based on timing off, Tua has no idea what to do. So, I mean, that's all I needed to see to be like, wow, how could they pay that guy? Jared Goff, in my opinion, not worth it, but I do agree, like, he is a great fit in Detroit, but we'll see now that Ben Johnson's gone, if that, if he falls off. Yeah. Purdy, I already told you, overpay, not worth it. Herbert, I think, is worth it, as much as, the Chiefs fan in me wants to say no, but the dude is a baller. And, if people want to push back, like I'd argue, like, well, if you put Justin Herbert on the 49ers,
oh my God,
what do they do? Okay. You put Justin Herbert on, some of like the Jags, he's probably elevating them. They're probably running the AFC South. And Lamar, like I said, absolutely worth it. Probably too cheap now. If you look at some of these guys paid ahead of him.
Lamar and Mahomes are bargains at this point. They're absolutely bargains.
And just to draw the point home, got to rep the Chiefs. Just to name the other QBs that are worth more per year than Mahomes that aren't on this list. You got Jalen Hurts, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, and Kirk Cousins. So
Jalen Hurts is like the only one that
only
you could somewhat, make the argument.
Crazy.
He was on the list until Brock Purdy got paid, and he got pushed off the list because I believe he's 11.
He's 11.
Yes, I believe he's 11. So yes,
wow,
yes, indeed. Okay, well, I might fire a few shots here. So hold on to your chair. So I'm gonna start with Dak Prescott, and absolutely positively, hell no, Dak Prescott does not deserve $60 million a year. And again, yes, it does take a lot to be Jerry Jones. Sorry,
my bad.
I was gonna say Pat. I wanted to say Pat. I was like, that's harsh, but you said puppet, so hey, it is what it is. I get it. It's hard to play with Jerry Jones and Cowboys. There's a lot of stigma that comes with that. There's a lot of politics that you got to play being a quarterback, but still 60 million is real steep, especially with the team being where it is, how it's currently constructed. Your coaching staff is lackluster. You lost Dan Quinn. You fired McCarthy. I mean, you could have done it yourselves. If you kept those guys, you at least been in the running for paying Dak 60 million and had the receivers that you have. And I do believe that O-line is better, but you got better with your O-line a year too late, because if McCarthy had the line that they have, the youth that they have at this moment, he would be in the playoffs perennially. But again, that's what Jerry Jones does. He always was, too little, too late when it comes down to moves he makes. So it is what it is. So you pay Dak $60 million, you'll start to feel that sooner than later. Josh Allen, no need to even talk about that. MVP, he carries. I mean, he's probably the guy on this list that, barring him and Lamar Jackson, can elevate and carry their teams at times that he absolutely positively needs to get it done. I think that we all can say that. So it's not a whole lot to say about it. Trevor Lawrence, I want to give him some grace. Again, he's had a lot of tumultuous things going on, much like Justin Herbert has when it comes down to how dysfunctional this organization has been. So I would like to say that him getting, a new coach finally, a new weapon, in Travis Hunter, and got Brian Thomas Jr., in year 2. I would like to say that he should be better this year, but this is it. It's a make or break for you this year. It's going to be a bad investment after this year if he does not produce. Joe Burrow, outside of him having to put up 50 points a game, he does get it done. He does deliver. Only thing you got to really question him about is the playoff performances. But yet again, your defense kind of lets you down in certain spaces, so you can't be Superman every day, right? Jordan Love, again, I think him and Trevor Lawrence are kind of the same boat. I think that him getting Matthew Golden, he's got a genius play caller. He's always had a functional O-line, good running game, got a bell cow running back. So I think, with him being injured on and off last year kind of hampered his development. So if he stays healthy this year, it's a make or break for him. I think the investment gets bad if he does not produce and makes it the playoffs this year, and makes maybe a little bit of a run. I'm with all y'all with Tua. I believe that he is. He should have never got paid. If I was Mike McDaniel, I'd have went into Stephen Ross' office and said, "Look, I didn't draft this guy. I am limited in what I can do with this guy. We need to go back into the draft or free agency and get another guy. I need to get my own guy because I believe that the genius that play caller that he is, if he had a really functional quarterback, the Dolphins would be dangerous.
Yeah,
with the level of
absolutely.
speed they have on this offense, and we get the O-line has been bad, but the speed of this offense, I mean, just to have a competent, strong arm, mobile quarterback like a Cam Ward, for instance, would be great for him. For somebody that can be off platform and not often injured. So $53 million for a quarterback, you're not going to have. You're not guaranteed to have throughout the years is a steep price. Jared Goff bothers me and has bothered me for a while because he doesn't play well outdoors, and that's the ceiling for me. And you're playing in Detroit, so you're lucky that them and Minnesota both have domes, so you get 4 games guaranteed that you're inside. But he struggles in cold weather. I mean, that's a stealing. That's a point of contention for me. For pay, I got $53 million for. Brock Purdy, yet again, another guy that you're going to feel the effects of come in year 2 and year 3 of his contract, because you have to move off those stud receivers and tight ends and O linemen. So, yeah, that's going to get bad real fast, in my opinion. Justin Herbert obviously is worth it. I think that him being with Harbaugh in year 2 should definitely open up. Allow him to spread his wings. Now he has better receivers, and of course Lamar Jackson, being the MVP of the league. I mean, 2-time MVP, perennial Pro Bowler. Constantly in the playoffs. I mean, what more can you say about it? Again, like I said, he's underpaid. Pay him $60 million, pay Dak $50 million, and we'll call it a day. But yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah. So we'll see how things go, man. But I'm definitely eyeing Jordan Love and Trevor Lawrence, because they being 2 and 4 or 5 on this list. Yeah, y'all,
crazy.
It's a make or break, put up or shut up for y'all, for sure. Because it's starting to look, and then Kyler Murray, who's not on this list, but he's a put up or shut up for me too. He has to get it done and get it done right now. If he doesn't, because they put things around you now, there's no excuses. Especially with Jordan Love, there's no excuse for Jordan Love at all. He has everything he needs.